Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nuggets News. Today we welcome a special guest who's been living off crypto for a few weeks now, and that's Jaide Barclay. So welcome to the channel, Jade.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
So for the people at home, what have you been completing recently?
As in what countries have I been to recently?
Well, let's just talk about the 12-week challenge in
Yeah.
general, I guess, and how you got into it.
Oh, okay, sure. Well, I was really just looking for a way to get more involved in the cryptocurrency scene because it was just a genuine interest I had, and I didn't really know what to do or how to get involved. And yeah, very first step I did was I went to London Blockchain Week, and then yeah, just came up with this idea of the challenge, and I guess it's given me a lot to learn about. It's pushed me into social media. It's it's kind of opened up to these interviews and meeting people and networking. So it really has been that first step. Um, yeah, which has been great. And I'm just, hang on, what's the day today? Friday? Is it Friday? No, it's
It's
Thursday.
Thursday time
Okay,
recording,
so
yeah.
um, I'm at 10 weeks on Saturday.
Yeah. So what inspired you to go traveling, and was it the conferences you wanted to attend or meet people or just see if you could live off crypto and the experiences it would bring?
It was because of the conferences mainly. So after I'd been to London Blockchain Week, I thought, okay, well, these have been really great because I wasn't connected at all to my Gold Coast or Brisbane network. And it was really, really nice to start talking to people who were involved and just establish those friendships. And it really helped because I had a lot of questions for people. So after London, I was like, right, I'm just going to do a list of all the conferences coming up and I'm going to start attending them. So that has sort of mapped out the path I've taken. Other other locations have been slotted into that because there were some that I didn't initially plan. And the country list has also grown as well. So yeah, I guess the conferences were number one, and then the networking was just a benefit of that, really, that came from the conferences. When I was in London, it became apparent that a big issue in the industry is that we don't have adoption in terms of people using crypto for payments. So that's where the idea came to me. And I thought, okay, well, I've actually technically never used it myself. It's the next thing I need to learn about. I hadn't even set up a wallet. So yeah, I just kind of jumped in the deep end, really.
Yeah, and what did you find going to these conferences? Because I know a lot of people, wanted to go to conferences when crypto blew up over the last 18 months, and then we
Yeah.
got the feedback that it became an ICO shill fest, and a lot of conferences were pretty
Yeah.
terrible. Whereas recently I had a fantastic experience at EdCon. So how did you find all the conferences?
Yeah, I found okay, ICOs are really not on the radar anymore. It's more people talking about how they've affected the industry in a negative way.
Mm.
There are people obviously trying to sell things that are paying to get up on stage and promote their brand. That might be, it depends on the conference, really. But, in some conferences, it might be every third speaker gets up and talks about their company and how you can sign up and that kind of thing. There's also some really, really good content. But I've noticed the more and more conferences I've gone to, I've gotten quite slack and I've spent less time in the auditoriums actually sitting down and taking notes and paying attention. And I guess you just get, after traveling for such a long period and being on the run for so long, you just get exhausted from just sitting there and literally studying or actively listening. So I sort of was getting lazy and I've pulled out and I'm more just talking to people now. So some of the conferences I've gone to, I haven't even really sat down and listened at all. It's just been chatting to people and then you start drinking and then yeah, it just kind of gets a bit crazy, really.
Yeah, and for people at home that haven't been to a conference, it's like going to a full day of uni lectures where really from
Yes.
9 till 6, there's people talking every 15 minutes, and you've
Yeah.
really got to tick off what you want to see and then go
Yeah.
out and network in between. And, I was trying to catch up with Vitalik and the other guys to get good interviews and whatnot. So it really is pretty full on.
It is. And that's like, I think you're right. You do need to actually map out who you want to listen to, especially if there's more than one stage going on, because sometimes you need to choose which one you want to go and see. And yeah, you do notice that at the end of a day, people are exhausted as well. So it's like people end up getting another wind, having a coffee, and then there's more festivities that kick on into the night, and there's dinners and after parties and all that kind of stuff. So they're pretty full on.
So, what were the best things that you learnt, or some takeaways for people that are maybe just getting into the space as well, all the way up to some more advanced things maybe that you heard?
It's interesting hearing about what could be happening with Facebook and, the different coins that are coming out that I guess have different use cases, but coming from companies that already have a huge user base worldwide. And you think, God, these are going to be pretty powerful. So things like that. What else have I just trying to think? God. People are all talking about STOs. I haven't really paid too much attention to that.
What was the general consensus around Facebook coin? Are people seeing this as a threat to Bitcoin, or they really just don't like the fact that there's going to be a centralized coin that's calling itself a crypto?
I think that it's definitely something people are excited about. I don't think they see it as a threat to Bitcoin necessarily. People are pretty confident that Bitcoin's always going to have its space and always going to be that store of value. I mean, not everyone has that opinion, but a lot of people tend to. And they're more just excited about, I guess, Facebook has the potential to really bring mainstream attention once again, like the 2017 bull market did.
Yeah, for sure. I literally
sorry.
just recorded an unbelievable interview with an Australian guy who's in the marketing and loyalty brand space, and he spoke a lot about Facebook Coin and these companies that already have users. He really sees that as where you're going to get the most traction.
Okay, yeah, I mean, definitely. Everyone has their arguments. As you know, this space is people are very opinionated, and there's also a lot of people that don't want to listen to other people's opinions as well. But there's a space for centralized coins as well, even though essentially, when Bitcoin was introduced, it was all about being decentralized, having governments with no part in this, giving power to the people. But people are also realizing we do need regulation. Obviously, we've got to find that balance. So there's still a space for centralized coins, stable coins, different kinds of blockchain. But also, speaking of blockchain, that's one thing that I've developed more of an interest in, because when I came into this space, it was all about cryptocurrency, and it was the excitement, I guess, from the volatility was what got me interested. But it's been pretty cool hearing about just, I guess, what blockchain is doing around the world in terms of cleaning up plastic from the ocean, helping with famine, helping with supply chain management. There was a really cool one I heard about. There's a lot of fake medication going out, particularly to third world countries, and it's helping mitigate that, and it's helping with like sex trafficking. So that kind of stuff, I hear about it at conferences and I think, oh, wow, this is so, so cool. I want to learn more. And then you get dragged away and you kind of going off in a different direction because it's all go, go, go. So, yeah, I've got this list of things that I want to do more research on. And my interest is now not just crypto, but it's the actual technology.
And personally, I think that's what the next wave is going to bring. The fact that the general public will realize that blockchain isn't just this buzzword and a bubble, and that it has these other applications. Now, that's probably going to lead to more speculation and whatnot. But but just on that, I really would like to get your views on, why is there so few females in this space? And we look at our YouTube stats and it's 96% male. And I guess personally, I think it's because of the risk-taking gambling behavior that a lot of people get into. And then you have to take into account that tech's also male-dominated. But once we have all these other things you've just mentioned and it's out in the real world, surely these numbers have to sort of reach an equilibrium.
You would think so. I think you're definitely onto something with men being more risk takers and gamblers, and I guess traditional finance is also male dominated, and a lot of people have come from that space as well. Tech, yes, definitely is more male-oriented as well. I found it really, really intimidating getting involved. It didn't stop me because it's what I really wanted. But this is what I said to my sister. So when I went to school, it was an all-girls school, and I really enjoyed that because I always, when I was putting my hand up in class or getting up at assembly or doing any kind of public speaking, I wasn't intimidated. Whereas if I had to do that with a male audience, it's much more intimidating. So I don't know whether it's, females might find it more difficult if they say the wrong thing, or or there's a fear of sounding stupid as well. And
as you say, I think in a space that's got a lot of trolls, a lot of opinionated people, it probably makes it even harder again. And that's certainly, hopefully, an environment that we've created with Nuggets News in our group that everyone's welcome.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice to think that you are building a community and there's no negativity, because I mean, we do have to stick together. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. There's still a lot of fighting and, like I said, differences of opinion and people kind of being smart asses and things like that. But the majority of people are pretty respectful because it's a small, we don't have many people around the world involved, so you do have to support each other.
So how have you found Australian adoption? Because I think we're actually at the forefront in terms of people using crypto and aware of crypto and all that. So how have you found other countries on your travels compared to Australia?
Well, I found all of Queensland that I've been to really easy, but unfortunately I didn't really start testing out the Queensland market until later in my trip. So, I mean, I tried the Gold Coast, but also because I live here, I was able to fall into my comfort zone and just stick at home a lot as well. The first major city I tried was Sydney, and I actually found that hard, where I thought Sydney would be the easiest place in Australia. So I went into weeks 3 and 4 going, oh, this is crap, Australia's so hard. And then it wasn't until probably week 7 or 8 that I really mapped out the Brisbane places, went up there, I think for 2 or 3 days, and just smashed them out. And my opinion just flipped 180. I was like, wow, this is seriously so easy. Because also I was able to drive around and I knew my way around Brisbane, and all of the places I was going into still accepted it, which is a huge thing because so many places I go to are like, oh, we don't take it anymore, or, there's always an excuse. So, yeah, Brisbane was great. And then I just got back from Agnes Water 1770 yesterday. That was an absolute dream. I could literally walk to all the places and spend crypto. And when I went in there, people knew exactly what I was talking about. They not only knew what I was talking about, but the first place I went to, they go, oh, you're the traveler. You're the person who's spending crypto. And they were really interested because you guys covered 1770, and they had a lot of media coverage when they first became Australia's digital currency town, that I think they're really proud of that. So, yeah, that's all been driven by Travel by Bit, who are based in Brisbane, and they're really rolling that out pretty aggressively up here. So that's just super cool. It'll be great when they get to the rest of Australia as well. I know they are in the rest of Australia. It's just nowhere I have visited.
Yeah, and I know when we launched Brisbane Airport, we got a lot of good feedback from overseas tourists ringing up to book the Great Barrier Reef, and we want to do all our travel and hotels and pay for it up front with Bitcoin.
Yeah, and I got to, I keep saying scuba dive, I got to snorkel in the Great Barrier Reef yesterday and pay with crypto, and the guy who runs, it was Lady Musgrave Experiences. So when I spoke to the guy, he literally could not be more helpful. There was just no hesitation. It was like, yep, come out 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, the boat's leaving. The staff knew about it. I haven't had a friendlier, more open, and just people wanting to support me in terms of staff and a company like that. So that was really, really cool.
So you said you went to the London conference, and did you go to many other countries, and how was it spending crypto there?
Yeah, so in London, that was my very first step into it, and I hadn't even thought of this challenge at that point. I sort of came up with the idea in London, got home, got over the jet lag, got back into routine, and then the idea sort of came a couple of days later. So London, I didn't spend it anywhere. So the first place after Australia was Hong Kong, and I just became a bit of a creature of habit there because I was in Hong Kong for 2 weeks, and I pretty much kept going back to the same places because I don't know if you've been to Hong Kong, but do you know the central area?
No, I haven't been yet.
It's just, I'm just lazy and I stay in that area. It's kind of like the expat district, and I know my way around, and I just kept going back to the same places there. And apart from that, so I was there for 2 weeks. There would have been at least one party on every single night. So a lot of the nights, it was like dinner and drinks and all that kind of stuff was included, and then you're at the conferences, so lunch is included. So because I've been traveling to conferences, that has also made it a lot easier. So I went to China. That was difficult because you've got more of a language barrier, and people are a little bit scared and apprehensive to even discuss cryptocurrency.
Yeah, it's like interesting.
I think, like, am I sort of like sussing them out? Am I going to dob them in? Something like that. Yeah. Where else have I been? I've been to South Korea, Japan, Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia. I feel like I'm forgetting somewhere.
But for travelers that are out there at home, it's very doable. How did you search what places accepted Bitcoin and whatnot?
Google has always been my first step. And then you really do have to write a list. If you're organized enough, email ahead, or, get onto the company's Facebook page and contact them and just confirm that they still accept it. I find 50% of the time they don't accept it anymore. And make sure you then get a map. Get as much information as you possibly can before you go. And I think if you're tackling one country at a time, it's doable. But yeah, I'm just on the go so much that I just feel like I'm just chasing my tail, and I'll be at the airport before I know it, and I think, oh my God, I haven't done any research. I quickly have to find some places. It's doable, but it's still a challenge.
So security-wise, how did you find that? What wallet did you want to use for your Bitcoin on your phone, and for those people that are safety conscious?
I have only used 2 wallets throughout my whole challenge. I started off with the Jax wallet. That was really easy to use. And then now I've switched to Wallet of Satoshi. That's been even easier to use. Not only that, it is ridiculously quick. It's like using, actually, I think it's quicker than tapping and going.
I agree, yeah.
Yeah, so that is and I found out you can use it overseas as well. So I'm heading to New York on Saturday, and I'm just going to continue using that, I think, for the rest of my trip. And I've found both of them really safe, haven't had an issue. I mean, it's really easy if you're accepting a payment as well from someone. If you're switching money with someone, or you're paying someone back, or you're receiving money or whatever, it's so much easier than giving someone your BSB and account number.
Oh, yeah, that was one of the aha moments very early on for me. The fact that if I'm playing cricket in England or going to Bali on a holiday, Bitcoin doesn't care what country I'm in. I just tap and scan and whatnot. And I think that's in the next bull market, when everyone's sitting on profits and everyone's aware of Bitcoin again, more people are going to want to spend this, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's also people remain in their comfort zone and they continue with their habits, and it's such a simple thing to do. But I know I held off for so long. I was like, oh no, I'll just transfer it through your bank or whatever. And then because I've been forced to do it, I'm like, where have I been? Why have I not done this sooner? If I'm transferring or receiving from a friend or whoever, it's literally just texting someone your code. It's copy, paste, text, bang, it's done. You can do it in a minute.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you've read much about the Ethereum name service, and there's other people working on this in Bitcoin as well, where in future you'll just be able to send your coins to Jaide Barclay, and you'll be able to make your name your own address.
That's so good.
We're going to get rid of all our long strings of numbers and letters.
Even better. But there's been a wallet. I haven't used it. Someone set it up for me one night when I was out, hang on, I've got my phone here. I'll tell you what the name of it was, because that was how they've set it up already.
I know Arbor and a few others will let you send people if you've got their mobile number. So there's a few different options. It's getting easier and easier, that's for sure.
A mobile number makes a lot of sense. I'm trying to find this one that this guy set up on my phone, but I can't. But it was the same thing. He did it through Telegram. All he needed was my handle, and then he sent me, I think it was like GoCoin, something like that, straight away.
Yep, fantastic. So what are your future plans?
Well, actually, so I've kind of created this, so this 12-week crypto challenge, as I've called it. And that's the hashtag I've been using and the branding and all that kind of stuff. So I have been thinking about this for the last 2 weeks, thinking, all right, well, I don't want it to just come to a stop and then, I've got nothing to do or whatever. So I've created this plan where I'm going to spin it off into a new challenge. I haven't finalized it just yet, and I need to do a little bit more research before I tell people what it is. But pretty much it's going to allow me to continue traveling. I'll continue traveling to conferences, but not the entire time. I've got some plans to travel to some pretty remote locations. And like I spoke about earlier, it's not just going to be cryptocurrency related. It's exploring some more blockchain projects. And I'm going to continue using my social channels and get more involved with the vlogging, because that was all pretty new to me, getting the video content together and pushing that out. So I want to focus more on the videos. But yeah, like I said, it's going to be a bit of a unique challenge that's crypto related. So I'll keep that branding in a different way. And once I've done my research, I'll sort of maybe announce what it is when I finish this challenge, which is 25th of May.
That's fantastic. I love seeing people live off crypto. So thanks for telling us your story today, Jade. I'll put all the links in the description for people to follow you, and I'm sure we'll have you back on the channel in future, or have you love to meet you in person next time we're traveling around.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure we'll probably cross paths at a conference or something soon.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us today.
Cool. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks, guys.